Hello everyone, it's the start of 2024 and it's that time of the year where YouTubers just put out like their favorites of the previous year. Favorite skincare, favorite books of 2023. So for today and for the next few days, I'm gonna be reading booktubers' favorite books of 2023. Yesterday, I went to the bookstore to get 2 of the books I'm gonna be reading this week, and the rest I'm gonna be ordering online because weirdly they are cheaper to order online. The 4 YouTubers I'm gonna be reading for this week: the king of booktube, Jack Edwards; Leonie, aka the book Leo; Chandler Ainsley; and Pham. Starting off with the first book, Chandler's favorite, one of her favorite books of 2023, Yellowface by Pham. And I actually cheated because I already started reading this book like yesterday when I bought it because I just couldn't wait. This is fiction, but it's so rooted in real life. And I think I can finish this book today, maybe if not tomorrow. And I'll see you when I have updates for this book or when I finish it. Bye. Hello, I went to Starbucks this morning and I finished up Yellowface by Pham. Where do I even begin with this book? This book is about 2 friends, let's say, that went to Yale together, and one went on to be a successful author and the other one, she's kind of struggling a bit. And one day, the successful friend dies and the other friend found her manuscript of a book she was working on before she died. She got hold of it, wrote it up, and publishes it as her own. And once she publishes her book, she got a lot of questions on like racism and cultural appropriation and things like that. And this was one of the easiest 5 stars I've given a book ever. The book really does make you think about like race and racism, especially in like the publishing industry, but just racism in general. And it really makes you think of like, especially in the past few years, there's a lot of talk about how minority groups can also be racist and not just white people. Darkly funny. I laughed out loud many times. My mom was confused as to what was wrong with me. And yeah, there were just scandals after scandals, and I really love it. I really love this book. I think if you're in like a reading slump and you need a book to get out of the reading slump, this book. It is such a page turner and you'll be out of your reading slump like that. And yeah, this book, really good. Really good. Next book we're gonna be reading Leonie's favorite book of 2023. And I've never heard of this book before until her video. This is Stories of Your Life and Others, which I believe is a short stories collection. I don't pick up short stories that often. I don't know if it's weird, but I want my books to contain one story because I'm really particular about like what I like. And if it's a collection of stories, like if I like one and I like the other, I don't know how to judge the book. So I don't pick up short stories that often, but this might change that. And I'm excited to read it, so let's go. I was wrong. Everything else was different this time, but you were just waiting for a chance to move on. Hello. I finished 2 stories in Stories of Your Life and Others. The first story in the short stories collection is Tower of Babylon, which is about Tower of Babylon, which is a tower that is built really high up to the heavens and the gods. And our main character and his team is to climb this tower and reach the top, right? As he climbs the tower, he encounters a lot of things and a lot of people who like change his perspective on a lot of things in his life. What did I think about that story? I didn't really dig it that much. I just felt that it was deeply okay. It's not bad, but it's like not the best thing I've ever read. Yeah, and because of that, I put a book down for a little bit. I forced myself to pick it back up and I read the second story, which is called Understand. In Understand, we follow a man named Leon who was in a horrible accident and was put into a coma and also received some brain damage. As part of his treatment, he was given this drug called hormone K. As a side effect to this drug, his intelligence keeps increasing, and we just follow his life where he just got smarter and smarter and smarter, and I really dig this story. As his brain develops, the words used in the story just got more complex, and it really portrays like what's going on in his mind, and I really love this story. It's a bit weird reading a short story because once I finish a story, I don't feel the need to continue, and I just put the book down, and I really do have to force myself to pick it up again. So I think I'm gonna read 2 more today, but yeah, right now I have to go out to dinner with my dad. So yeah, see you guys in a bit. Guys, they just keep getting better and better. Is it me getting accustomed to Ted Chiang's writing, or like they're getting better with each story? Division by Zero is about our main girl. She's a mathematician and she has found a contradiction in maths, and her mind can't comprehend this contradiction, and we follow her as she spirals out of control. I love it. I love it so much. I love how his brain works and writes and portrays concepts. It's amazing. The next story, the one I just literally finished, and I need to turn on my camera because I need to talk to someone about it. It's Story of Your Life. In Story of Your Life, they have found aliens, heptapods, and we humans try to communicate with them. We follow our main character as she tries to decipher their language, and she calls the 2 aliens Flapper and Raspberry. It explores how these aliens interpret time and spoken and written languages different from humans, and my jaw was just wide open the whole time I was reading that story. It's like, it's so good. I'm excited to read the other 4 that I have left in this book, and yeah, I'll see you when I read a few more. I don't know if I'll even let you hear this song, the way you got me dancing around the question. Okay, hello, I'm back. The next story was 72 letters. In this story, they used names, which are basically pieces of code that can be inserted into things and objects, and you can essentially reanimate them. I liked it when it started off and I thought it was interesting, but then like I felt like he was trying to fit a lot of concepts in there and I couldn't care for all of them, and they were kind of clashing, and yeah, no. It's not bad though. I think there's something happening with me right now, which we're gonna discuss, but yeah. It wasn't my favorite in this collection. I had to read about a boy wanking into a jar and growing the sperm into a big sperm. Do with that what you will. And then hell is the absence of God. So in this world, basically, gods and angels and hell and heaven and stuff is real. They exist for real, right? And if you truly believe in God, you go to heaven and get to be with God. If not, then you go to hell, which in this story is just the absence of God. And once in a while, the angels will come down to give visitations. Is that what they're called? Visitations? Or something like that. The angels come down to visit the people, right? And you will either be blessed or be cursed or be killed or be given a cure to, you know, if you lost a limb or something, they can give you another limb. And because of this, there's a lot of casualty, people die when the angels come and visit. And we follow a man who lost his wife in one of these visitations. His wife was a true believer in God, so she is sure to go to heaven. He is not, and it's so hard to believe in God when your wife was killed by the angels, right? He's like really conflicted because he really wants to go be with her in heaven, but at the same time he cannot bring himself to love God, and we explore him and his life and his journey with that. I am not Christian, I am Buddhist, so I don't know, I'm not into God and all that, but it was interesting to read about. Yeah, I think at this point I'm not interpreting the words, I'm just like taking the words in and understanding what each of them mean. And for that reason, I'm gonna put the book down for a little bit. Not because it's bad, not because I don't like it, but it takes a lot for me to get into a story. And when I have to like start a new story like back to back for like 6-7 times, I'm so tired. Okay, and I just want to get into a long story where I can just sink myself into and go on for a long time. which is why we're gonna start the next book in this experiment, which is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. There's a reason I haven't read this book. I don't like sad. I really want to pick it up, especially because I saw many people recommending it, but I don't like sad. I like to enjoy my books and have fun, and I've heard that this is really sad. I don't know the details of what this is about, but I know like vaguely they're trying to make a game and things like that. But because Pham put it as one of the best books of 2023, I'm finally gonna read Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. So it's still in its seal because I ordered this online. So let's get it out from its packet. There we go. Okay, I'm excited to start. I'm gonna finish this book, by the way. I'm gonna finish it, but not now. Not now. I cannot get into another short story. I need a long book right now. Yeah, so let's start on Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. Hello, it is Monday the 8th. I started this reading experiment off on Tuesday or Wednesday, I believe. And yeah, it's Monday the 8th, which means that I just started a new semester and I went to my first class this morning, which I didn't hear a single word the professor was saying because I was reading this damn book in class. Yeah, I just finished part 7. I don't know if I can call them chapters because they're more little chapters within each chapter. So I would say I just finished what I would call part 7. The feeling that this book is giving me is so weird and conflicting because all the description of my parrot is on the camera. The description of the game is so cozy and so amazing and so warm. It really makes me want to pick up something like Animal Crossing and just start playing. Yeah, but at the same time, the characters are dealing with a lot of stuff and I have no idea how this book is gonna end. How Gabriel 7 describes feelings and things that are happening is so like real life, and you can know exactly what the characters are going through and know exactly what they're feeling. My bird's just gonna be on the camera. I'm gonna read the 3 remaining parts today and finish this book. I haven't cried yet. I don't know if that's gonna happen, but yeah, we'll see. And yes, I did indeed finish Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow last night, but before we talk about that, something happened while I was asleep last night. I knew that Stephanie Garber was releasing a new book this year in 2024 and she was going to be announcing it on the 7th, which for me is going to be the 8th of January because I'm on this side of the world and we are going faster than the US. So yeah, yesterday, which was the 8th, I was stalking social media, I was stalking Instagram of when the news was gonna drop, and I've heard nothing. My 2 favorite genres to read are fantasy and Christmas romances. A Christmas special romantasy? I love Carval so much. I love Carval. I love Once Upon a Broken Heart. I love Stephanie Garber. She has made my Christmas and it's only January. I'm just so excited about that, so I just wanted to share that with you guys. But now let's talk about Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. When I heard this book was sad, I expected to cry. I did not cry. I don't think it's as sad as people make it out to be. I wouldn't say it's sad. I would say it's wholesome, but at the same time it's kind of melancholy. It's not like sad book, but it makes you feel kind of empty inside and really do feel for these characters. Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, I think you've probably heard about it by now, but it's about 2 best friends who are making games together. There are so many dark themes in this book, but it doesn't leave you feeling sad. It's just a bit of like filling of an emptiness in your soul. That's how this book made me feel. But at the same time, I've already talked about this, but it's the description of the games and things they were making is so cozy and so nice. It's not fantasy, but it almost feels like fantasy with the description of games and stuff, and it sounded magical. Yeah, it's just so nice learning about these characters' lives and all the things that life can throw at you, but you're still gonna push through. Especially with Sam, how Sam deals with his disability. I really do feel for him because it hits close to home. It hits really close to home, and yeah, I really love this book, and I think you would love it too if you pick it up. And now for the last book I'm gonna be reading in this experiment, one of Jack Edwards' favorite books of 2023. Now, he uploaded 2 videos of his favorite books. One is called The Best Books of 2023 of the 200 plus I read, and the other one is called 11 Books You Need to Read in 2024 Fiction. I took this one from the first one he uploaded, which is The Best Books of 2023 of the 200 I read, and I just picked one that just spoke out to me and I thought it was interesting. Throughout the year, I've heard him rave about this book on and on and on. So yeah, I picked up All the Lovers in the Night by Mieko Kawakami, and it is translated from Japanese. It is 220 pages long, so it's probably not gonna take that long, but I wanna try and take my time with this book because I've heard that the writing is really beautiful. And I'm actually quite scared to read this book because while I read for pleasure, and I believe many people do as well, Jack Edwards read for pure pain and suffering. I have no idea what this is about. I haven't read the back of the book. I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna get into the book and just read it. Okay, so let's go. I know I'm supposed to be reading the book right now, but I can't get over this review. Crying, screaming, crawling on the ceiling like a demon. Hello, I'm sorry about my glasses, by the way. My eyes are really sore and they kind of make reflections, but I'm gonna try to turn this way. Okay, I'm about a little over halfway through All the Lovers in the Night. This book is about our main character, Yurie, and she's a proofreader who she first worked for a company, but then she went freelance. Because she's a proofreader, she sits at her desk a lot, which caused her to have a lot of back pain, which she describes a lot in the book. Yesterday, I had the worst neck pain and migraine, and I remember part in the book where to cure her back pain, she turned on hot water in the shower and she just rolled her neck around in the shower. And I did exactly that last night and it cured my migraine. So thank you All the Lovers in the Night. I like it so far. The writing is beautiful. It makes me want to read the original like Japanese text. I'm gonna finish it today, I think. Guys, this is a masterpiece. This book made me think so deeply about so many aspects of my life and being a woman in this world. Last night, you would have seen from the footage, my boyfriend and some of his friends went out to golf, and I went along with them and I read this book. And I was at a golf course at night looking at all the spotlights and the moon and the stars, and remembering, just kept thinking about a sentence in this book, that how the night is made up entirely of light. And I felt like I was in a freaking fairy tale without this being a fantasy. Like, it is so beautiful and so poetic. I was just staring up into the night sky and thinking about how a particle of light from a lamp in my bedroom could be traveling out there in outer space right now. Something I found in this book, which I don't know if it was intentional or not, it was talking about how no book is perfect, because she's a proofreader and she corrects lots of mistakes in books, right? She talks about how no book is perfect, and once you publish a book, you can still turn a page and a mistake will be glaring back at your face. And as I read that sentence, the next sentence, there's a spelling mistake. And I don't know if that was intentional or if that's just like a literal mistake, but if that was intentional, that was genius, okay? Before I sum up and do all the rankings of the books I've read, I have a book to finish. I haven't finished Stories of Your Life and Others by Ted Chiang. I have the last short story to finish in this book, and once I do that, I'll meet up with you guys and do a sum up of all of the books. Okay, I am back. I read all the books. Let's talk about the last story in here first. It's about Cali, or like facial blindness, which in this particular world you can turn on and off your Cali. It almost does a comparison of like, we can talk about racism openly and say how it's a bad thing, but we nearly never talk about lookism or like beauty privileges and how that can also be a bad thing. And that last story just explores the concept of being able to turn on and off your facial blindness depending on the type of situation you're in, like if you're in a social, more formal situation, or just like hanging out with friends and stuff like that. It was kind of fun to read. My bird is on the camera. Thank you. I'm gonna do a ranking of which books I enjoyed the most. I'm gonna first say that they're all enjoyable, but if I would have to rate these books in terms of my enjoyment, this is the order I would rate them. Starting from my least favorite. My least favorite would have to be Stories of Your Life and Others, just because it's a problem with me. It's not the book's fault, it's my fault, okay? Every time I read science fiction or historical fiction, I get reminded of why I dislike both genres. When I'm reading like science fiction or historical fiction, I want to get lost in the story, but I can't because I know that this is factually wrong. With every story in here, I would have to stop and search up whether something was like true or like based on a real thing. And that stopped me from really enjoying the story. And I think the fact that it was a short stories collection and I just read the stories like back to back to back, and I just had to like get into a new story like 8 different times. It just hindered my enjoyment of this book. But it's not a bad book. I did enjoy it. It's one of the better science fiction-ish books I've read. So if you like those things, yeah, pick up Stories of Your Life and Others. And the cover is really pretty as well. Look at how it reflects the light. So we have 3 books left. In third place, Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. I get the hype. I don't think it is as sad as people make it out to be. I really like the writing. I really like how this comforts me, yet it really deals with a lot of dark subjects, and these characters are going through a lot. These characters are like going through it, but there's a beautiful aspect to their life, and I really enjoy this book. But I just like the other 2 books a little bit more than Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. So this is why this is in third place. If you love games, you will love this book. I think if you're a gamer, you will really like this book. Even if you're not, like, this is still a really good book to pick up for anyone. Love it. In second place, we have All the Lovers in the Night. I really love this book. Reading this book feels like being wrapped in a warm, cozy blanket on a cold day. It's a book about books, if you like that. Perfect evening, get cozy in a big, warm blanket on a cold night and get outside and stare up at the stars and read this book. And it's like really short. It's only 200 something pages and you can read it quite quickly, but I feel like it's best if you take your time with this book. And yeah, it's so beautiful. So beautiful. Please pick this up. As much as I love this book, I was like, did I enjoy it more than Yellowface? And the answer is no. Guys, it's so darkly funny. It's almost like reading a comedy skit. A lot of things that happen in here are absurd, and I had such a fun time with this book. I turned the page so quickly. There's not a single word that is out of place in this book, and it's so funny. What else can I say about it? Number 1, 2, 3, and finally 4. These are my ranking. They're all really good books, really enjoyable to read. Yeah, this was a fun experiment. And that's it for the video. So thank you so much for going on this journey with me. Have a wonderful day or night, wherever you are. Bye!